Let me ask you a question. When you're lying on your deathbed, reflecting on the life you've lived, what feeling do you want to have? Do you want to have regret? Or do you want to feel fulfilled? Do you want to have sadness? Do you want to feel contentment? Or maybe a better way to look at this is, what do you want to look back on and say, I did that and I'm proud? There's a reality that hits us in the face right here. None of this will happen if we don't set our hearts to accomplish something great with our lives. This won't happen if we don't have a dream. We won't accomplish something great with our lives if we don't have a dream. And we won't accomplish a dream if we don't have goals, those smaller incremental steps that we use to fulfill this task, to finish and complete this ambition. If we don't have these goals, we may find ourselves far from the purpose that we wanted to set out to establish. When I take a look back and a step back, I can ask, how can I accomplish something great? And the only way we establish great things is through the faithful accomplishment of one goal after another, one step at a time. Moving slowly at times, warp speed at others, but moving inexorably towards your dreams. See, what I have here, what I want to tell you about today, is the secret to gaining success in your goals. The secret to sitting on your deathbed and looking back with joy, with fulfillment, and not with regret and sadness. I'm not a stranger to dreams. I've had many of them in my life. And I'm not a stranger to doubts, to fear that I can accomplish those dreams. Every dream I've ever thought of has been plagued at times by doubts and fear. I had a dream to start a church. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if it would work, but I did know one thing though. And I set my mind on asking one question that represented that thing again and again. How can I accomplish this goal? What do I need to do today to be able to plant this church in a year? What do I need to do next? How can I move this dream forward? Every day I would wake up and I would say to myself, nothing's guaranteed and no one else is going to do this for me. So I need to get accomplished only what I can do and I alone can do for this dream. We've all heard what we need to do to accomplish goals. Having clear and specific goals, we know that. Yet, I think sometimes we fail to visualize it. And as we see what these things really are, it'll become far more clear to us. See, clear and specific goals, these are the steps that constitute a staircase that moves us from where we are and the bottom level to where we want to be at the top level. And as we establish the goals we must achieve to reach the dreams that God has given us, we will see ourselves getting closer and closer to what God has. This isn't new wisdom, but this is old wisdom. The book of Proverbs, the wisdom book of the Bible, says this: commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. There are two sides in this, and here's where the secret comes in. See, You do what only you can do. Commit what you have, what you want, what your desires, your dreams are to God. And then when you do that, there's another side to this. There's another side to this coin. There's another pillar here that He establishes them. He takes your plans and He puts them firmly in a place where they can grow and expand and multiply and bear fruit. There are two sides of this: commitment on our side and establishment on God's. These two actions. We commit. Everything in life is a process, isn't it? We're either moving toward what we're called to do, toward our purpose, toward our dream, or we're moving away from it. And here's the deal. A process, it's a series of actions, steps that we take to achieve a particular end. That's what a process is. And either we're going to have a say in what that particular end is, that goal, that dream, what it's going to be, and actually determine what actual steps and actions that we will accomplish in this process, or we're just going to let the process of life and the processes of those around us and the methods of those around us take us somewhere where we may not want to go. We've all heard the concept of SMART goals. SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And of course, each one of these characteristics is key, but there's a step here. There's a step in this process that we normally think about that's missing, and this is the step of committing what you want, what I want, and submitting it to what God wants. Committing it to God. And when we commit something, what we do is we actually pledge ourselves to a certain course of action or policy. And the reality is we can't pledge and commit ourselves to something unless we trust that person or process or thing or idea. We know commitment is difficult, but committing our plans to the Lord means saying, God, I trust you with these plans. These are my dreams. These are my babies. These are the things I've been wanting to do and waiting to do and accomplish with my life. These are all the dreams and the visions that I believe will give ultimate purpose to my life, and I'm trusting you with them. In order to do this, you may need to have a conversation with God. You may need to talk to Him about the goals and dreams you ask. You may need to write them down, to bring them to Him systematically in prayer, and to talk to Him and see what He thinks. You may need to write down these words: I commit my dream to own a house to you. I commit my dream job to you. I commit my 6-figure salary to you. I commit my dream to have a Tesla to you. My dream for what my marriage should be to you. My dream for the kinds of friends I should have to you. My dreams for what my children should accomplish and do and be in life. My entire life, God, I commit it to you. I trust you with it. And you may need to write this down for every goal you have as you're imagining your life in 20 years. You write it down, and next to it say, God, I commit this to you. You put it on your mirror, or you put it on your dashboard, or you put it in your pocket, or you have your phone remind you every day, or you put it on your screensaver on your phone. You look at it every single time, and you see, yeah, all these dreams, all these things. I can work, I can create the steps, I can try to think of what it should be, but at the end of the day, I need to submit this, I need to commit this to God. I need to trust Him with it, to take it, and to give it back to me, either as it is or something different, something better. We're going to need to talk to God about this. And as you do this, as you commit yourself, your goals, your dreams, your relationships to God, as you do this, you find freedom. Freedom from the ultimate responsibility of accomplishing those, the crushing weight if it fails. You take what God has given you and use it, the freedom from the worry and the fear, because you know that you trust the only person who can really do something with this. You've trusted him with your dreams. And let me give you a challenge, and let me give you a promise. Here's the challenge. The challenge is, will you commit your plans to someone else outside of you? Will you trust your goals with another person? Will you commit them to God? Because here's the promise. As you commit your plans to God, you will grow in trust for him, because he is eminently trustworthy. Eminently trustworthy. And here's what happens. Once we do that, then God establishes our plans. See, God is trustworthy. God is the one who authenticates our plans as we give them to him. He takes them and he makes them something better. He validates them. He gives them only what he can do, which is his seal of approval. And for the one who has the power and the one who has all the understanding, that's the one we want. That's the one's approval we want of these plans. And as we give these plans to God, he transforms them into his plans through us. And I don't know about you, but I want my plans to have an impact beyond me. And when I give my plans to God, what he gives them is something I cannot. He gives them durability. He gives them the ideas, and he gives them the kind of roots that will take place, that will make it durable, that will make it better. It will last longer than we ever could have imagined. You know, I want to make a difference in my kids' lives. I want make a difference in my grandkids' lives. I want to make a difference in my great-great-great-grandchildren. I want them to know of me and be a beneficiary of the plans that I'm making today. So what do I have to do? I have to commit them to God, and he takes them and does what only he can do, gives them durability, gives them power, gives them his purpose, and what this gives them is maximum impact. And we are left with two choices for our plans in life. We can commit them to God, or we can control them by ourselves. We can commit, or we can control. That's what we have in the end. We can try to control everything with our limited resources and limited abilities and limited understanding. We can try to make all of it happen and feel the pressure that makes us arrogant when we succeed, or feel like a failure when we don't. We can try to have total control, or we can commit it. We can speak these words out to God. We can tell other people about it and tell them how we need God to accomplish it. We can pray through them. We can submit them internally and say, God, whatever you want, I'm holding it with open hands. Because he's the only one that has the power and the perspective to actually make our plans last. Because he's the one whose plans last forever. He knows what to do. He knows what it takes to make a plan last. And as we give it to him, he transforms our heart to either continue on the same path, make adjustments, or abandon it altogether. But we can trust him with our plans. So what are we going to do today? Are you going to choose control, or will you commit your plans to God and allow him to prosper you? You start writing these plans down, each of them, and you start praying. You let your mind go as God gives you insights. You ask him to answer questions and you write your best guess as to what he's saying, and then you show that to other people so they can give feedback and you can sharpen what's going on. And as you take steps, you'll gain more clarity and you will be able to accomplish the unique thing that God has for you that only he can accomplish through you, that is only unique to you. You're the only one that can accomplish this with God, because there's no one else that's you. So keep praying, keep reviewing, keep an attitude of acceptance no matter what's thrown at you. And if you do, you'll accomplish more than you can imagine. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Proverbs 16:3. Let's do this. Let's make something happen, and let's watch our dreams bloom as God brings them to life.